Erin Cruz Show. This is the Queen of Politics. I am your hostess, Erin Cruz. We are live on the road. We have no intro or anything else because I just wanted to make sure and bring you tonight's show. Unfortunately, I had a major change in plans. So here you are with me. Thank you for joining me. This is the Queen of Politics, and pretty much I just give you the rundown of what I see and what I've experienced, this last week, and I just tell it how it is. And so, what I want to talk to you tonight is just a really, really blunt truth on what I'm seeing here across the political spectrum, all across social media, in the media, and also, in the back rooms talking with people across the nation. We are at a critical point right now. We are at the birthing stage, 9 months into the presidency. We have so much to accomplish. We have so much to do, so much ahead of us, and nothing should get in our way of accomplishing our goals, what we set out to do when Trump took the presidency and was inaugurated January 20th of this year. My birthday, my 40th birthday, woohoo, great celebration there. Nothing should stand in our way. I mean, 9 months, we need health reform, we need tax reform, we need that wall, okay? We have a little bit of funding, $1.6 billion, it's just not enough, all right? We have major catastrophes across our southern coasts, and, we need people who have their lives turned upside down, reinforced and given hope, and there's a lot to accomplish and a lot to do. And what I see right now is a whole bunch of people, all right, a whole bunch of people in politics, especially, the politicians themselves, just playing with the people, okay, just playing with the minds. Don't get trumped by the MSM. Don't get trumped by the politics and the politicians in DC, all right? Don't let them play with you. Now a good example of getting trumped by the MSM is, the minute Schumer and the minute some of these hacks meet up with Donald Trump, we have been saying, let's have, bipartisan, across the line, talking, communicating, making deals. We've been saying that for how long? For 8 years? So now we have a guy in there that wants to get deals done. We have GOP that's taken the House, taken the Senate, and we finally now have the presidency. And the GOP can't get their SHI you-know-what together enough to have something on his desk, all right, by kickoff time on January 20th of this year. Yeah? Now we're 9 months in. And they're all putting up their shoulders and saying, I don't know what's happening. Why isn't he getting his agenda done? It's not about him. It's not about Trump, okay? It is about the politicians. It is about the playing of games, the backroom deals, and undercutting the American people, okay? Sabotaging our nation, essentially, is what it's coming down to. And so what we have is we have these politicians who are out there in D.C., and they're all upset now because, Trump is playing and dealing with the devil of the Dems, right? Well, hello? Somebody's got to come to the table and start having a conversation because the American people want things done. And now what I'm not saying, okay, you got to hear me straight right now. I am not saying that what was agreed upon to lift the debt ceiling, to make it so that way, they pretty much have an unlimited checkbook, okay, because of the hurricanes and everything else throughout pretty much most of the rest of this year. I'm not saying that was a good deal. As far as I'm concerned, that was a bad deal, bad move on the part of Trump. But what I think Trump is trying to say is, look, get it together, get some ideas, and let's start doing some things for the American people. The American people deserve us to work. They've asked us to work. They've put us in the positions to work, and we need to work. All right? And so what's happened, though, is when these politicians get together with Trump like that, and then they come up with this deal, the MSM are like, lions drooling, pacing at the fence, and they're just pacing and pacing, drooling, for the next story. And so you totally get Trump, because what they've come up with this idea that now they're going to go ahead and feed the American people the story, okay, that the wall isn't going to get built. All right, that was the big thing. The wall's not going to get built. They made a deal on DACA, okay, with Trump, and they also made a deal on some other things. Okay, that's what the MSM just went all drooling about. I mean, just couldn't wait to sink their teeth into the story that Trump went and met with the Democrats, and he came out with this cushy idea that, you know, now they're not going to build the wall, now they're going to pass amnesty, now they're going to XYZ, who knows what. All right? I received an email, and several emails, that from Trump, from his party, from his political team, okay, and I'm sure you've seen them too, all right, that it's not true at all. That they aren't going to build a fence, they aren't going to build a little hobby-jobby, teeny little picket fence on the border, they're not going to put up a barbed wire fence on the border, okay, they're going to build a substantial wall, all right, and that's straight from the horse's mouth. Okay, and now again, I'm not saying the way he did with Shumi Baby and some of these other peeps. I'm not saying what he did with them was okay in lifting that debt ceiling. No, not at all. But what I'm saying is don't be so quick. Don't be so quick that when you get information. Now, I may not always pass around the quickest, the right on the spot, right in your face, right when it comes out, you know, some sort of report on this, that, or the other that I saw. And you want to know why? Because I don't know that we can trust one iota, not just what the media says, but what the media says Trump is saying. All right? You can't trust one iota about what Trump is saying through that MSM media. You cannot trust what Trump is saying through the Democrats. And, you know, quite frankly, after the GOP pulling a 9-month stint of not getting their act together and having something on Trump's desk, all right, as I put it today, you know, Trump is Santa and Congress are the elves, all right? Santa can't deliver what the American people want. Santa can't do his job and deliver the presents if the elves haven't done their job and put the presents on Santa's desk. All right, the elves have to put together the package. They have to put together the material that fills the package, and then they have to put it all, wrap it up all pretty, pass it in both house, you know, the House and the Senate, and put it on Santa's desk to deliver to the American people. Yes. All right. So what I'm saying is after 9 months, and the GOP's STALLING, okay, stalling and not getting good, solid, conservative healthcare reform passed in both the House and the Senate. And oh my gosh, they have all these reasons why in the Senate they couldn't take care of business. I'm going to tell you what, people, right now, we have seen that Congress, when they want to do something, you remember that Saudi bill just not too far back that they put on Obama's desk? Yeah? Well, I'm going to tell you what. They put it on his desk. He vetoed it. Guess what? They put it on his desk again, and he was forced to sign it. Okay? So, if Congress really knew, and they know, I believe they know, they just haven't really seen it yet. They don't believe that we have the power to take away their little paychecks, or should I say their big paychecks. Now, if they really saw the reality of what they're doing and what the prices they're going to pay, they would get together and they would make some conversations with the Democrats in the Senate, and they would say, hey, you know what? We need a good deal for the American people. We need premiums to lower. the way we're going to ease this is we're going to be able to create more competition in healthcare by doing this, and by doing this. We're going to ensure that the people in this section and this section are not, put at risk, and start making some deals in the Senate where, it starts favoring the American people and what the American people need. The American people need more money in their pocket to put more food on their table. Period. End of story. All right. And so if we had the Senate stop making dang excuses and start making good deals, making good legislation, getting their brothers and sisters in the Senate to be able to have a votable legislation, all right, it would pass in the Senate, and then it would get sent to the president, and if the president didn't like it, didn't think it was a good deal, the president could veto it. If the people were so behind what this House and the Senate put forward to the president, I'm sure it would be made known. I am absolutely 100% sure it would be made known, and then the House and the Senate could put it forward and through again, and Trump would have to sign it. And so the fact of the matter is this, is that the Congress that we have, that we've put forward, we've pulled up out of our tailcoats, and been in there now for a good long while, has had 9 months to put forward legislation, and all they do is put up legislation that nobody can agree on, that nobody's going to come to the table with, except for the House. The House passed their portion, which American people weren't altogether thrilled about that. And then what they were doing in the Senate, people weren't really thrilled about that either. But the fact of the matter is this, is if we can make some reform and see the easing, I think the American people, if they saw a slow transition, the American people would be in support of action plans that actually help the average Joe, okay? And help the middle class. That's what it comes down to. And so now what we see is now tax reform was put up, and that was put up a good while ago, and that still isn't even being dealt with, really. And then with the hurricanes coming in and some of these other things, coming around, it's just a big fat mess. And then DACA, I mean, it's a wonder Congress ever gets anything done. Except getting themselves more money, right? That's the one thing they seem able enough to do. I've thought about this quite a while, and I've thought about the fact that we've had 9 months, no tax reform, no health care reform, and the fact of the matter is this, is that we're running out of time. We had this great provision put in place, so basically, up until September 30th, we can repeal Obamacare, okay? And it was a mechanism used. Not a lot of people were thrilled about it, but that time's drawing close. Okay, that time's drawing close, and I think we're going to see a lot more little distractions here and there, just to kind of kick the can and hopefully run that clock out. But what I notice is that if Congress, their incentive seems to be monetary. I mean, okay, I'm going to shift a minute here. What if we take away their pay? I mean, essentially it comes down to this. These people are getting paid to get nothing done. That's what it's coming down to. And sure, they do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And I'm not saying altogether that they don't do anything. But really, what we've asked for them to do, they have not delivered on. It has zero to do with Trump. Trump can do only what they put on his desk. There's very limited ability for him to pass, or not pass anything, but take care of anything through executive order. So basically, he's reliant on Congress. So don't get trumped. Don't fall for the MSM BS, okay? Don't fall for what the Democrats are saying, what the Republicans are spewing. When you want to know what Trump is doing, what's going on with Trump, and I know a lot of you hate his tweets, and, I know many of my friends, my close family friends, are not real thrilled about him tweeting. But, the fact of the matter is this, is at least you know what's going on, But what you should be doing is you should be looking at his tweets, you should be reading his speeches, you should be looking at the White House briefs, you should be looking at the White House page and read what's really going on. Because what you're seeing in the media, what you're seeing from senators being quoted in the media, it's all manipulated, twisted, churned, chewed up, and spit at you. Okay, as the American people, it really is. And don't get trumped by them. They're totally manipulating your mind. And the perfect example is the wall. Okay, which we saw come out today from Trump himself, that he will be fully he's going to work on fully funding an actual and substantial wall, not a picket fence. So, and I'm repeating myself there, but I don't know how many times, we can talk about fake news. This isn't just fake news. This is a massive propaganda machine perpetuated by the politicians and lobbyists in D.C. Basically, churned up, churned up, just spit at you, okay, in your TV. So, don't get trumped. Wait a hot minute, okay, before you start jumping off the mouth and putting things online, before you start passing around news articles that are misleading, before there are any sort of substantiated reports from the White House itself. Just be cautious about what you're spreading, what you're sharing, who you're sharing it with. Have a conversation or two. It's essential, and this isn't just, a suggestion. This is kind of more of a, how do you want the conversation to look? Because, sooner or later you're going to look back at what you shared and you're going to think, wow, that was a hot mess of a story. And, you realize that you were nothing more than a pawn for the big politicians, the big lobbyists, and the MSM, and more than likely the Democrats and some Republicans. That can be more true for, I would say, another story that I saw this last week, where it basically said, and there's all this big talk about the deep state, and then you have this talk about Republicans who are, basically trying to undercut Trump, and that, they basically want to unseat him. I've had it to the high eyebrows of people spitting out claims, spitting out this type of unsubstantiated propaganda. I would call them excerpts from maybe comments that have been made from different legislators, or House of Representatives, or either that or the Senate members. They're basically, what they do is they take these interviews and then they piecemeal them out, and I've seen it over and over and over again. The only thing that you can get that's tried and true is where you actually have an interview, okay? Where you have an interview and you can watch that person talk and share, and you can see, almost 60 Minutes style, okay? I mean, it's gotten to the point where you have to be very careful about, even on right-wing news, left-wing news, libertarian news, you have to be very careful about your sourcing and the material you pass. It was just the other day, I think it was 2 days ago, when I've been doing this for a long time, like 9 years, not very maybe as long as many of you have, but online activism and other things. And I pass news that I find interesting, stories that have bits and pieces in them that I find valuable or intriguing. And maybe they aren't valuable or intriguing to everyone, but, and maybe everyone doesn't think that what I pass around is entirely true. There have been a couple of times when I've been, I've fallen for the fake news and things I've literally read and looked at other articles and thought, okay, this makes sense. And then I look back and I'm like, how did I get shammed? But no, there are pieces that I pass along that I find valuable, that have valuable information in them, that maybe other people don't find valuable, but they're there is information out there on independent websites, on independent reporting, or small news, local news sites, that journalists have the time to actually look at stories and spend the time researching, that I find interesting and I enjoy sharing. And a couple of times I've gotten hit, and, somebody said, do you even read the stuff you share? It's like, yeah, I do. I read it. And just because you don't find it interesting doesn't mean that it isn't true or that it's not noteworthy. Later, you may find that the story has more value. But big picture is this, is that information is power. And it doesn't matter if the information is accurate, inaccurate, misinformation, disinformation. It could be from all angles. But information is power. And how we use it has value, okay? And so when we get information that is accurate and we pass it appropriately and we share it effectively, then we can make impact. And so when you get these stories, these small stories, all right, in local areas, and you follow them, you find that later on they become bigger stories. If you remember, a couple of our friends, I don't know, I don't want to mention names, but many different people that I know are basically still reporting on the Bundy, Bundy case, where basically you have the BLM, which is government land, basically seized government land, acquired by the government from the people, and basically the people are shunned off of their property. So, without going into it too much, this story was a tiny little story that started out as a little bud, okay? And over time, more and more people became interested in it. It was a story that people realized, shoot, if the government can take this guy's land, who's been in the United States for hundreds of years, or 100 and some odd years, if they can take his land, basically force him off of it, force him out of it, because he can no longer afford to be on his own land, which is now not his own land, supposedly. I mean, maybe they can do that to me. Well, that is darn right. And awareness is key. Information is power. Okay? Given a small seed, put it under a little dirt, water it, let it grow. Over time, people may be able to see the actual plant, and see the actual growth, and see what's really going on. And unfortunately, we're so captivated by the instant, by the right now, by this moment, that we don't take the time to see the bigger picture, that we don't take the day or two to wait to see, hey, how did that develop? Like, for example, Trump's not going to build a wall rumor, okay? Yeah, we need to hold him to it. Every chance we get, every conversation we have, we need to say, and we want that wall built, and we want to fund the wall, and we want to make sure that that wall is built and enforcement is taken care of, that deportations are followed through on, etc. Okay? Yes, we have to say that. We have to hold Trump to what he's promised to follow up on. We have to hold Congress to the wall to follow up and provide for Trump, to put that package together, to build that legislation and put that package together for Trump, so Trump can sign it, so he can deliver on his promises. Yes, that's true. Okay? But, some rumor goes around, spread and perpetuated just a day and a half ago, day and a half ago, and suddenly everybody's all up in arms. Wait a minute, I thought the wall was going to be built. Now it's not going to be built. Built, not built. Built, not built. It's confusion, it's distraction, it's manipulation. And, take a step back. Take 2 or 3 days. It's not going to kill you to wait before you start passing the stories around, okay? It's really not. And the other thing is I would start a conversation on those stories when you see them. When this is about interaction and activism. If you're going to be politically active or at least socially interactive on the political sphere and in relation to politics and having conversations on sites and what have you, what you're sharing has value. And so if you want to make that value, really count, push it to the limit, spread it out as much as you can. What you need to do, or what you should do, is make sure that when you see stories like that you bring up questions and you do something like this. Is that really true? Did you see any quotes directly from Trump? Oh, no, somebody might say, no, that was from so-and-so and so-and-so, huh? And then you can say, well, we should see what Trump has to say about this. Did you check on the website? I'm going to go check on the website, on the White House, .gov and see if there are any speeches where he's talked about this or addressed this. Somebody else may say, oh, yeah, well, and they may be pro. There are a lot of people who don't want that wall built, okay, for many different reasons. We have traitors from within. We have people who are all too ready to let people in our borders that shouldn't be, that are all too ready to give people amnesty. Illegals who have broken the law and are here illegally, give them amnesty, all right? No. Okay? There are too many of those types of people that are all too happy to just keep perpetuating, keep passing that conversation around, that news article around, okay? They're all too happy to make short stories and post it online and have it go viral, yeah? Because information is power. The more people you can get to believe it, the better off that story is, the better distraction it is. So your job, my job, is to say, hey, gosh, did you see anything? Did he do a speech? Did we hear it out of his mouth? Don't get trumped by the MSM. Don't get trumped by the Democrats and by the Republicans and the lobbyists. Don't. And also, make sure that you're following accurate information passed around by your friends online and everything else. It's important. Every conversation we have has value. People, relationships, interaction have value. And it's important. I mean, our political sphere, we're as divided as ever, as it seems. And, with all the tragedy and the hurricanes and everything else that we're going to be heading into with this season and the winter coming up, I mean, we have to be careful. We need to treasure our relationships, treasure our families and our friends, and make sure that, we aren't creating divide by passing false conversations, false stories, false information. Okay? Build the nation up, unifying one another based on good, pro-America, pro-citizen, pro-law, pro-conservative policy measures. And Democrats may say, well, I'm not for, conservative values as far as, the fiscal thing goes. Well, most, I would have to say, yeah, unless you're a socialist or a communist, many, old world Democrats are pretty much, they're very fiscally conservative. So just take care for the conversations that you're having. Our financial situation is dire. We're at $20 trillion in debt. Our stock market is doing better than ever, as it seems, for the last 9 months. Pretty good. But, I think that it's important that we have these conversations and they foster the kind of values that we want to encourage in our homes and build us up as a nation, not tear us apart, yeah? So, just, kind of a little bit of food for thought for y'all tonight. I'm hoping that tonight's show, Queen of Politics, was good for you. A lot of times we talk about legislation and other things, kind of a crossover from Political Core, which I hold on Tuesday nights, 7 p.m. I know I've mentioned a little bit that I've been censored, yes, on YouTube. Luckily tonight, so far so good. We've been live. I've just kind of been testing the waters with the systems to see, what they're going to allow me to do, what they're going to allow me to talk about. They've been bumping me off, not allowing me to upload video and audio for whatever reason, it has nothing to do with my computers, my software, or anything else. It's everything to do with algorithms and these major media platforms. So tonight, so far, so good. But yes, I was censored for almost a month. I've been recording and trying to get you all the information that I love to get to you guys every week, twice a week. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to do so. So hopefully we are up and running again. It looks like everything is a go. And you can hopefully be hearing me now. It looks like I'm live. And we'll look forward to maybe, another successful show this next Tuesday night for Political Core. I have a lot of other things going on I haven't really spoken very much about, and I kind of would like to share with you right now. Aside from the political shows, which I've been doing Tuesday, Thursdays until I got censored about a month ago, I have been doing also on a Friday night, I do a YouTube video, and that also got censored. That was horrific. That one really, really impacted our platform as well. So that is going to continue. I'm going to continue to push hard to get that out to you. If not, I'm going to take it to the Twitter Live, Periscope, or on Facebook Live. I'm not, and then if that doesn't work, then what I've talked to my team about is just doing recordings only and uploading direct to my website, and asking for donations instead of monetization. So, to keep the information flowing. It's more important to me to get accurate information out to you, to get the information out that you want to hear and share, than it is to, be fighting with these types of big media platforms, which many, I'm not the only one, have been doing. And as I grow, because I have a lot of different things in the works right now, that's even more vital. So I know many of you have seen, as I've been doing, I started a Fun in the Kitchen with Aaron Cruz. So whenever I'm cooking, maybe 2 or 3 times a week, what I'll do is I'll do a little video that's a little bit interesting outside of politics. But back to the politics side, I have been working on some big projects, and I've put together really, really great surprise for everyone. I've been a lifetime writer, and I love communication. I love people. I love politics. And I've been putting together this project for some time now. And I signed a book deal this last year, and been putting together something for you, a surprise. So that more information will be coming. I'm hoping that we'll have that information to you in the next week or two, and the project will launch soon after. It is really exciting time, and I can't thank all of you enough for all of your support, and keep the conversation going, and keep growing as a nation, growing as conservatives, as conservative women especially. We are at the forefront of the fight against tyranny in this nation, fight against socialism and communism out there, okay? We are at the forefront as mothers, as wives, as sisters, as daughters. We are front and center on the home front, okay? We instill in the hearts and the minds of man and woman across this nation for lifetimes and generations. Our information we passes on to others and to others and to others. So I'm hoping that the surprise that I have for you, that's going to be coming out, and we'll be dropping some information soon. You're just going to love it. So make sure, please, go to my website, www.aaroncruz.com. Okay, and sign up for our email. I don't send out any spam. I don't bully you with news articles once a day, okay? It's not, I have a blog on there, yes. I mean, if you sign up, you'll get notified when I put, if you sign up for the blog, you'll get notified when I put a new blog post, that's it. If you sign up for my website, you will get a notification when I send out an email. I think I've only ever sent out 2, okay? It's not something that I do very often. It's when I have big news to share with you, or if I have something important to share with you. Okay, so make sure you go to my website, you sign up. That way, when I have that exciting news to share, you'll be the first to hear. And so, in any case, so that's it for tonight's show. Thank you for joining me for the Queen of Politics. You join me next Tuesday night at 7 to 8 p.m. for Political Core, where we get down to the core of the issues with information you can trust and lean on, all right? Thank you so much again, and I hope that you have a great, great weekend. God bless you, and God bless America.